Steel and Soul, Strength and Grace. Chapter 6. Resurrection. Pain doesn't hit during the fight. It arrives after. In the stillness of hospital walls, where machines beep like metronomes and every breath feels heavier than the last. Dante Cole lay in a hospital bed in Las Vegas, his championship belt resting beside him like a crown too heavy for one man to carry. His face was a collage of bruises, his ribs taped tight, and his right hand was in a cast. He had won. But he couldn't lift his arms to celebrate. Eli sat by the window, reading a newspaper with a photo of Dante mid-punch on the front page. The headline, Ironheart Ascends. But he looked more tired than proud. "I told you not to fight his fight," Eli said softly. Dante turned his head. "I didn't." Eli met his eyes. "You fought yours." Silence settled between them like old friends. Amara visited that afternoon. She didn't bring flowers or gifts, just a sketchbook and a pen. "I want you to draw something," she said. "I'm not an artist." "Good," she said. "Draw anyway." So Dante drew. Not well, but honestly. He drew a ring, but inside it he drew two silhouettes, one standing, one kneeling. And above them, in jagged strokes, a shape resembling Maya's violin. When he showed it to Amara, she said, "That's not a fight. That's a funeral. What are you burying?" Dante didn't answer. But that night, he dreamt of his father again. Only this time, his father wasn't shouting. He was watching. Silent. Disappearing. 3 days later, Maya walked into the hospital. No cameras, no warning. Just her, hair tied back, one arm still bandaged, and a new violin case slung over her shoulder. Dante's eyes widened. "You're playing again." She opened the case. Inside was a brand new violin, sleek, black, custom made. The conservatory raised money. Eli helped. Said it was time for your legacy to do something other than bleed. She set the violin down gently and pulled out a small card. "My audition is next week. I want you there." Dante swallowed. "I'm not sure I'll be able to." "I didn't ask if you could walk. I asked if you'd be there." He smiled. "Then I will." 2 weeks later, Dante stepped out of the hospital on a crutch, the Las Vegas sunlight too bright after days in dim rooms. He didn't return to Detroit immediately. He and Eli stayed in a quiet house on the outskirts, away from cameras and chaos. Eli cooked simple meals. They sat on the porch every morning, watching the desert wake. "You still want to keep fighting?" Eli asked one morning, not looking at him. Dante took a deep breath. "I'm not sure. You don't have to prove anything anymore." "I don't fight to prove. I fight to remember." "Remember what?" "Who I used to be." Eli smiled faintly. "Then make sure you don't forget who you've become." The night before Maya's audition, Dante flew to New York. He wore a suit. No cameras. No press. He sat in the back of the hall, crutch resting beside him, a small Ironheart pin on his lapel. When Maya stepped onto the stage, the lights caught her like a spotlight in a storm. She didn't look nervous. She looked whole. Her bow touched the strings, and the first notes danced through the air. It was soft, then strong, then soaring. Dante listened with his eyes closed, and for the first time in his life, he felt peace not as absence, but as presence. She wasn't playing to escape. She was playing to live. Afterward, they met backstage. "I heard it," he said. "Heard what?" "Your fight." She smiled and leaned against him. "You hear mine. I'll hear yours." They returned to Detroit together. The mill still stood. The streets still whispered. The gym still echoed. But something had changed. People didn't just nod at Dante now. They saluted. "Champ," they'd say. But he never answered to that. He preferred Ironheart. Not for what it meant on paper, but for what it meant inside. Answer, Dante began training again. Not to fight, but to teach. He opened a youth gym with Eli, a place where broken boys and girls could learn to throw punches without becoming violent. Where they could fight without losing their souls. Where they could remember what Maya once taught him. You can make war sound like music, if you learn how to hold the bow. To be continued.